Hi, I'm Javier Gomez, and during this presentation I'm going to show you how to migrate Joomla sites from 1.5 into Joomla 2.5 or 3.1. For this presentation we are going to do also a live migration, and this live migration is going to be done with a tool called Red Migrator. That is one of the available tools for doing the migration in the Joomla world. The first thing that we need to do before migrating is asking ourselves if is there a reason for migrating. And the answer is yes, there is. Joomla 1.5 ended its support in 2012. So if you have Joomla 1.5 sites, you're running a Joomla version that has not support. So if this screen sounds familiar to you, you might continue watching this video. Is there a reason for migrating? We said yes, but not only because of the core of Joomla has no support, but also for the extensions that you have in your Joomla 1.5 site. You might have extensions that haven't been updated for a long time. Because where's the reason for a company or for a developer to maintain an extension that is working on an outdated version of Joomla? There is no reason. So you might have security problems in your extensions or vulnerabilities or maybe you know this archive version of the Joomla extensions directory. So we keep there all the extensions that are for Joomla 1.5. But you're asked not to use it because you're asked to migrate to Joomla 2.5 or 3.1. And the third reason for migrating is because we know that Joomla 1.5 had this difficulty on updating. It was not easy to update, or we have to migrate. But from Joomla 2.5 in ahead, it's really easy to update Joomla. It's just one click button and you click it and Joomla updates itself automatically. So now that you have many reasons for migrating to Joomla, you need to think some key points before migrating. I just added this link at the top of this slide that links to the Joomla docs.joomla.org. that is the documentation site for Joomla, and in there is a nice article that explains all the points that I'm going to show during this presentation. So for further information, please visit docs.joomla.org. Well, going back to the things that you need to think before migrating, the first of them is, do I have budget for it? Because migrating requires you some time to do this migration. So I guess that you need to go to your customer and convince them that you need to spend this time in migrating their old site, insecure site, outdated site into a most modern site, nice, more performant and secure Joomla modern site. So make sure that you get the budget for doing that migration. The second question that you might ask yourself is, should I migrate to Joomla 2.5 or to the Joomla 3 series? Okay, let's have a look at the Joomla releases, because it's a bit complicated. For example, Joomla 1.5 ended the support in September 2012. However, Joomla 1.6 ended the support in August 2011. So where is the sense on version 1.6 ending life before 1.5 that was released before? Well, the reason is because in Joomla we have the long-term support versions that are the ones that finish in .5. So 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. It's going to be the versions supported as a long-term support, that it's more or less about 2 years of support. While there's all the other versions that are short-term support, supported only for between 6 and 8 months. So that's the case of 1.6, 1.7, 3.0, 3.1, 3.2, and then 4.0, 4.1. Those versions are short-term support. And the benefit of using a short-term support is that you get the latest features. For example, right now Joomla 2.5 is the most stable release, and there we are not adding any new feature in Joomla 2.5. However, we are only adding just bug fixes. It's really stable, and you only need to continually update it to keep it on the latest version, but there is not big changes on it. On the other hand, we have right now Joomla 3.1 and soon Joomla 3.2 that has many new features, like the new automatic multilingual installer, tags for articles and all the contents in Joomla. Well, we have many more features in Joomla 3. Well, basically the Bootstrap also, Bootstrap framework for templates is in Joomla 3.0 and not in Joomla 2.5. Well, all these features makes you maybe choose the most new version of Joomla. However, you need to think that you will have to update your site constantly every 6-8 months. If you have a site that's going to be stable and you're not going to do many changes, maybe it's interesting for you to migrate to Joomla 2.5 instead of moving to a Joomla 3.1. Well, it's depending on your needs, definitely. Well, another important question is, what should I do with my extensions? Of course, you have a lot of extensions installed in your Joomla 1.5 site that maybe they do not exist in Joomla 2.5 or in Joomla 3. What happens with these extensions? The first step is for you to check if they exist. There are some cases where the extensions exist for all the versions of Joomla, so you just need to update these extensions. Maybe they don't exist. If they don't exist, you might probably search for an alternative. Even the core is now doing some functionalities that it wasn't able to do on 1.5. For example, if you need user ACL, you have it already in core. Or if you need multilingual, you have it already in core. So it's just about checking what do you have in your Joomla 1.5 and how can you make it happen in Joomla 2.5 or 3. And the final thing that you need to take in mind is to do a backup. Before doing anything, just do a backup of your Joomla 1.5 site and make sure you update it to the latest version of Joomla 1.5. So let's do a live migration for you to see the process. Let's migrate a Joomla 1.5 site into a Joomla 3.1 site using Red Migrator. Here I have my Joomla 1.5 site. As you can see, it has some content. And here I have a Joomla 3.1 site that it's completely empty. So I'm going to fill it with the content in the Joomla 1.5 site. The first step that I need to do is to install Red Migrator. So in your Joomla 3.1 administrator, you need to install the component Red Migrator. I have already installed, so I have in my components menu the Red Migrator component. Just go there. And then you could start migrating, but first we need to go to options and add some configurations. the first step that you need to decide is which migration method are you going to use. For this demo, we're going to use the database method first. The database method requires some configuration in the database tab. So I'm going to add the credentials of my 1.5 Joomla database. You can ask your hosting provider for these details, or you can check it using your PHP myadmin. So that this is the name of my database, this is the prefix of the tables. Okay, once you have filled all this data, you need to decide what you want to, in this case, to skip during the migration. I'm going to skip users, I'm going to skip categories. Well, no, I'm going to skip the modules, banners. So basically here you can decide what to skip in the core distribution of Joomla. But you can also decide if you want to add or migrate other kind of contents like Kunena forum posts or Virtual products. You can migrate it using Red Migrator plugins. But by default, you're working only on core extensions. Okay, so I'm going to save and close, and I'm going to start the migration. This migration, this process might take some time. As you can see, the component is processing and sending all the data into the new database. The database method is faster than the RESTful method that we are going to cover in the next step. So now the migration is successful. So if I go to my Joomla 3.1 site and I refresh it, I see all the content migrated. This time we are going to do the migration, but using not the database method but the RESTful method instead. So I'm going to go to options and I will make sure that the migration method is RESTful. And choosing this method requires some configuration. So this time it asks me for the URL of my Joomla 1.5 site. So I'm going to check it, and it's this one. And now the username and the password that requires is not the username and the password of the database, but the username and the password of the Joomla administrator user that has access to the administration in Joomla 1.5. So I'm going to add it, and finally it asks me for a security key. This security key is the one that's going to encrypt all the information that it's going to flow between the two servers, the two Joomlas, so nobody can sniff this information in the middle. And this security key also requires me to install a plugin. I have installed a plugin in my Joomla 1.5, and I'm going to go to that plugin. Here I have my Red Migrator system plugin, and I'm going to add a word here. This secret word is the same word that I need to provide to my Joomla 3.1 site and also to my Joomla 1.5 site. This secret word is the one that's going to keep secret all the communications. I'm going to make sure that the plugin is enabled. Yes, okay, so save. And here we're going to do the same. Save. I'm going to go back to the skip tab and I'm going to migrate only the basic content. So I'm going to skip banners. Now we are ready to migrate. Okay, let's start the migration. The RESTful method, it's going to be slower than the database method. However, it will allow you to migrate between servers even if you don't have the credentials for accessing to the database in the Joomla 1.5. It only requires you to have administration access to the Joomla 1.5. That's the benefit of using the RESTful method instead of the database method. However, remember that the database method is faster than the RESTful method. So in brief, what things do you need to have in mind before doing a migration? The first thing you need to do is to make sure that you have the latest version of Joomla 1.5. That I think it's 1.5.26. And then you need to install your Joomla 2.5 or 3.x in a new place in the server, probably inside a folder, or it's up to you, maybe in a different server. Then you need to choose between the two available methods in Red Migrator. That it can be a database method that it's faster but requires the database credentials, or it can be RESTful that it's slower but it works between different servers, so you can send the information from one server to the other. Then just click the button and migrate, and that's all. Well, if you are interested in Red Migrator and if you need help upgrading your Joomla 1.5 sites, just contact Red Component at redcomponent.com team. That is the company based in Denmark, but there are workers in everywhere in the world. And well, there are some very nice other products apart from Red Migrator that you might want to check. They are all free and you can then load them from the Red Component webpage. So if you want, please check Red Shop, Red Event, Red Form. Thank you very much.